Hi, I'm Gerald Patterson, but Gerald Patterson is just my stage name. My real name is Terry Bradshaw. Not really. I'll start off with another little joke about the 2-year-old boy. After he turned 2 years old, this little boy was very anxious because he had doubled his age in a year. He thought, if this keeps up, by the time I'm 6, I'll be 64. So you see, this little boy was afraid of growing too much and growing too fast. For me, it's the opposite. I'm afraid of not growing in a different sense. I'm afraid of not growing mentally, emotionally, psychologically, socially, and spiritually. This type of growth is what Dr. Scott Peck, the famous psychiatrist, called the growth of the human spirit. Now, recently I came across a quotation. It's not in my little book, but a quotation from an old Austrian psychiatrist, a Christian psychiatrist, Friedrich von Gagern. He said that man or mankind is destined by nature for a life of growth, a life of increasing fulfillment. So if we are destined by nature for a life of growth, a life of increasing fulfillment, why fight it? When we are constantly striving to improve ourselves, when we are constantly changing for the better, we are growing. And when we are growing, we are fulfilling our destiny. And when we are fulfilling our destiny, we are peaceful people, we are happy people. Now, I did a little research. I put together a collection of quotations, the best of the best of quotations related to the theme of growing. And I put these quotations along with my comments on these quotations in a little book. It's called The Growth of the Human Spirit. In my book, I have over 200 quotations, more like 250 quotations. And today I'm going to recite all 250 quotations for you. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. Just kidding. But I would like to give you a sampling of quotations in my book, a small sampling of quotations. Now remember, this is not my wisdom. This is the wisdom of the people that I quote. Starting off in the category of strength, growing in strength. Oh, do not pray for an easy life, rather pray to be stronger men and women. Philip Brooks. Courage, growing in courage. Always do what you are afraid to do. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And look fear in the face. You must do the thing which you think you cannot do. Eleanor Roosevelt. Goodness, growing in goodness. Unless we live up to the spirit of goodness, we live down to the level of mental slavery and moral mediocrity. Ralph Sockman. Love, growing in love. It is impossible to love without giving. Richard Bronstein. And it is only those who do not love that go empty in this world. Robert Hugh Brown. Gratitude, growing in gratitude. Gratitude is the sign of noble souls. Aesop. And the finest test of character is seen in the amount and power of gratitude that we have. Milo Gates. Wisdom, growing in wisdom. I do not think much of a man or a woman who is not wiser today than they were yesterday. Abraham Lincoln. And greatness, growing in greatness. It is a grand mistake to think of being great without goodness. Benjamin Franklin. Now, skipping back to the last chapter of my book, it's called Growing in Faith and Hope. In this last chapter, I share some of my favorite reassuring quotes from Jesus, from the Bible. In conclusion, today I'd like to share 4 short quotes from Jesus. Jesus says, I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in the darkness, but will have the light of life. And Jesus says, these things I have spoken to you, that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be made full. Jesus says, I will not leave you orphans. I will come back to you, and your heart will rejoice. And finally Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. To me, that is the ultimate answer. So I thank you for listening. My book is available for a small price, and it's available if you can contact me. Contact me at this phone number, or preferably probably my email address. And I'll give that email address one more time. And I recommend my book for yourself or for someone you love. And if you happen to love yourself, that's good. And I recommend my book for someone you love. Thank you.